Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader, and today I wanted to do a book unhaul because I need to go to Second and Charles. So these books, I've been meaning to unhaul them for months, no, actually years, if I'm being truly honest. And every time I've tried to film this previously, I don't know what it was about it, but I just hated it. I don't know. So I thought, you know what, if I just set the camera up in my living room, I have my makeup done because I'm going to work right after this, and in between the shifts, I'm gonna go to Second and Charles and sell these books. I thought, you know what, maybe if I do it this way, I will have more success. First of all, putting the bitches in the car. That has been actually my #1 downfall against myself, is that they never make it out of my house. So that's the first one. 2, if it's a little bit more casual, maybe I won't hate the way the video comes out. That was my big issue before. The 2 other times I've tried to film this. Not this year, not in 2024, actually not in 2023. I think I wanted to film this video maybe at the beginning of 2023 and then like the end of 2022. So again, I've had these for a long time. But without further ado, and enough of the rambling, let's get into all the things that I want to unhaul, sell at Second and Charles, and hopefully, if I get everything done correctly, by the end of the video, before it totally ends, I will put the price up for how much I got from all of these. So I want to do rapid fire. I'm not going to talk too much about why. Some of this is just simply, I'm not ever going to read it again, or I never read it in the first place and kind of don't care. Not in a bad way, just I don't care. So like, for example, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Probably never gonna, well, I haven't ever read this, and I don't know that I want to. So Hunchback of Notre Dame, Body of Evidence by Patricia Cornwell. I actually have read this. I read this, I think, at the very beginning of my booktube life, because I used to do the Pop Sugar reading challenges, and one of the prompts was a book that takes place in the city that you live in, and this takes place in Richmond, Virginia. The Man in the Iron Mask. Love this movie. Probably, I don't know, it's just so dense. I've only read one other Alexandre Dumas book, and for the most part I liked it, but yeah, I don't think classics are my thing anymore at this age. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. Never read it. I went through a period in my life where I was like, I'm gonna read classics. I don't know why I did that. Ready Player One. I remember kind of liking this book, but it not being my favorite. And I really didn't want to continue on with the series because I think there is a second book. Lucky by Alice Sebold. Never read any of this author's books. Then that stuff came out about her having written a book, and maybe it was this one. I actually think it might have been this book itself, where didn't she like wrongfully accuse someone or help wrongfully accuse someone who went to jail or something for a crime they didn't commit? So I was like, I'm good. The Devil of Nanking by Mo Hader. I got this when I went to visit my sister in DC at a local bookstore. There really wasn't much in there, but I wanted to leave with something, and I got this and one other book. And yeah, I tried to read it several times and I just can't. Frostblood by Ellie Blake. I actually did read this book at like the very beginning, maybe right before I started booktube, and it wasn't terrible, but I don't remember liking it enough to like really take the second book seriously, which is somewhere in these, so that will come up later. So Frostblood, I just, yeah, it didn't grab me. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I did read this. I did like it. I wouldn't read it again. Same thing for Dracula by Bram Stoker. Another one. So I did read some classics when I was going through my classics phase. I just will never read those again. Okay, this one's the big one for me. Oh, these are all mixed up, and that's fine. Sight Witch and Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. You're gonna see the other books in this series. I have 3 bags, so I tried this. I've read Truth Witch basically at the beginning of when I started booktube, because I think it was Reagan from, oh god, I can't remember her name, but she's a very popular booktuber, and I followed her when I first started watching booktube. She really liked this series, or maybe it was somebody else. There's like 2 people that talked about this series, and I got them all. I really had to push myself to finish that first book. I did not like it that much. I remember when I was having like, okay, so this was definitely before I had a booktube channel because I had a book journal. I remember writing in the book journal, I have no idea what's going on. What is happening? I'm trying to follow the timelines, but I said, you know what? These people that I watch liked it, so I'm gonna keep trying. I don't know why I did that. So the whole series that I own, that has to go. I ended up really struggling to finish that. Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. I read this with my mom and my sister when we had our first book club back in like 2015. I liked it, but I'll probably never read it again. Men We Reaped by Jasmine Ward. I read this, but I can't see myself reading it again. Y'all already know how I feel about this book. I don't know why this I don't know why. I still have this. This should have been one of the first things I ever sold. But Red, White, and Royal Blue. We're not going to get into it because y'all know I hate that book. And then Jenny Lawson, Broken in the Best Possible Way. We read this for the newest book club with my mom and my sister before my cousin got involved, and me and my sister absolutely hated this book. No, not for me. A Civil Life in an Uncivil Time. My grandma on my mom's side gave this to us. I never read it, and I don't see myself reading it. The text is so small. Oh yeah, so this one I actually got the audiobook for it because reading this physically was really difficult, and honestly listening to it was also hard. And that was God Level Knowledge Parts, Life Lessons from the Bronx by Desus and Mero. The reason why this was not the most enjoyable read was because of Mero, the kid Mero. Honestly, he not only does everything in caps, so like those are his portions, everything is in caps. He also read it because they did do their own audiobook. He also read it like he was screaming. And RIP to Desus and Mero. That was my favorite show to watch on YouTube, first and foremost. I did try to watch it when they got on Showtime, but the format just wasn't the same. Didn't hate it, but just didn't love it. And I will forever miss Desus and Mero. It was so good. It is so sad that they no longer have a business relationship. I don't even think they have a friendship, but you know, shit happens. But you know, do I hate this? No, I don't hate it, but I really do like listening to Desus. But Mero, he's got a really big personality, but the way he types in all caps and then reads in all caps, it was a little overstimulating. I think that's the best way to put it. All right, now for the second bag. I think I'm gonna get rid of Around the World in 80 Cocktails. I got this for a gift one year for Christmas. I don't even really drink like that. Like sometimes I do like to try alcohol, like fun drinks, but I don't drink enough to make, I guess, essentially 80 cocktails. I don't, I have one drink I like and it's not in there. The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. Picked this up and I never read it. William Shakespeare, The Twelfth Night. See? Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. My classics era. Never read them. This was another one that Peruse Pages? So Reagan, I think it's Peruse Pages. This is another one that she recommended that it was a bargain, so I figured, okay, I might as well get it since she recommended it. I don't like middle grade. So The Battle for Wandla, I think is this the last book? And I had some other books, I don't know. Middle grade just isn't for me. And while I wonder if maybe if I listened to this, I might like it. Yeah, no. All right, this author's works I absolutely adore. I've read almost all of these that I own because, yeah, very few in here I haven't read. So the few that I haven't read, it was like those were the very last books that I got before I realized, you know, I think historical fiction isn't really for me anymore. I remember which ones I didn't read. and there's very few. So Philippa Gregory. Did anybody else read Philippa Gregory books? As I've mentioned before, I love the Tudors era, War of Roses. Yeah, it all started with The Other Boleyn Girl for me, okay? So I read The King's Curse. Yeah, I loved The Other Boleyn Girl. I loved The Virgin's Lover. And I also loved these covers. The Constant Princess, The Queen's Fool. I love like the way that the covers look. That was my table because apparently these books are too heavy. The White Queen. Oh, The Boleyn Inheritance. I liked this one too. I read The Kingmaker's Daughter. I read The Lady of the Rivers. I think the only one I didn't read was The White Princess. And basically this is when these started to become like, you know, you see these are on TV because this is like a mass market paperback. Oh, Stars. Yeah, Stars original show. This is basically the last one I got. Again, it was on sale. I could not get the sticker off. So I'm hoping they at least take it, because sometimes they won't even take it if it was clearly bargain. But girl, come on now. This shit, look how I can't get the thing off. But yeah, I loved these so much for the longest time. So hard for me to really make the decision to get rid of them, because these were some of the first books I was like, I know I'll never read these again, even though I love them so much. But I don't want to get rid of them because I have such fond memories of them. But you know what? Because they're going to go to Second Charles, someone is going to see all of these and maybe go, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to read it. Next is The Great Shame, The Triumph of the Irish in the English-Speaking World. Another thing that my grandma gave. Look at the text. Oh my God. I will never read this. So yeah. Racecraft by Karen E. Field and Barbara J. Fields. I think my friend Jose gave this to me many years ago. I didn't get through the whole thing, but yeah, because I didn't get through it, I probably won't actually read it start to finish. So if anything, I might try to find it as an audiobook on Hoopla. And here we go. We have that Truth Witch, the first book, as I mentioned, and then Wind Witch. I think, isn't this the second book? So Truth Witch was the one that I was like, oh, didn't mean to shake the table now. Yeah, okay. I did it. I pushed through and I finished. I think Wind Witch is the second book. This is when I was really like, God damn, I don't know if I like this. But I still bought the other books like a dumbass. Sight Witch was so confusing. I don't know. So yeah, I knew that if I just continued reading these books, it was just because I bought it, so I might as well read it because I took this recommendation. But it's okay. You're allowed to have taken a recommendation from someone. Didn't give it to me personally, obviously. Have bought the books and realized it's not for me. It's okay. Let's hold each other's hands and come to that conclusion, because that's always been my problem with getting rid of these. And finally, Fireblood. This is the second book after Frostblood, was it? I just showed it. I don't think I ever read this, but this is very like young adult. And it's more like middle grade young adult to me when I was first reading it, and that's why I didn't finish the series. But I actually don't think people would dislike it, so maybe someone will like those. And my final bag. A lot of these are actually much more new than the ones that were in the first two bags. I've had some of these books for so long that I've been, like I said, I've been meaning to sell them for a long time. So these are more new that I'm just not interested in keeping. So these are like very high sci-fi books that I was gifted by a family member that I tried to read them, and high sci-fi or whatever, like adult sci-fi, is not for me. I can't vibe with it. So Shadow and Claw by Jean Wolfe. And then the second book, Sword and Citadel. Again, it's like, god damn, that's small. Like academic. Yeah. Jack Vance, The Demon Princes, 1 and 2. So again, the text is so small. This was also kind of unpleasant to read when I tried, because like it almost like bled. I can't describe it, but I tried with this one and I said, ooh, too much for me. These were books that my husband's grandma read, and I think she just reads a book and then she is finished with it. I don't think that she rereads books, so she gave these to me, but they're not really my jam. Touch and Go by Lisa Gardner, and then another one by her, The Killing Hour. Just not for me. Now we've got some Book of the Month Club books. Some of these I've read, some of them I haven't, and I just can't see myself reading. Nothing bad, but you know, this is why I said that I wasn't going to do Book of the Month Club anymore. So The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I've heard really good things about this book, but I'm pretty sure I saw this on my Hoopla app, so I figured I would just listen to it. So I haven't read it yet, but I don't see myself reading it physically, you know? I did read The Heart Principle. I didn't mind this one. I didn't think it was too bad. I did read The Death of Vivek Oji, liked it, but I probably can't see myself reading it again. The book that I have constantly had trouble pronouncing the name, Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I tried with this. I also found that one on my Hoopla app, and yeah, even trying to listen to it, it wasn't for me. So somebody else might like that. And then Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Jessie. I did read this and I did like this. Although I will say, of the two books I've read by this author, I do like the first one I read. Of course, the title is escaping me and it's upstairs, but I'll put an image of it somewhere in here. But that one, whoo, that fucked me up. I loved that book. And yeah, we're basically down to the last three. So Girls Made of Snow and Glass. I didn't mind this. It wasn't terrible, but I can't see myself reading it again or going through the series, because I'm pretty sure this is like a young adult fantasy series. It was okay, not my favorite. Now I have sold my other books by this author, and then anything that I had left over that I think I got the paperback first, then I got the hardcover. I think I gave my paperbacks to my friend recently, but Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, this is just like leftover that was in this bag. I will never read this author again because of his support of, you know, and no thank you. But also, I really lost interest in this series. I read the first Red Rising. I read Red Rising. I read this book. I read the other one. I think I've read 4 books in the series, but then finally I was just like, I don't fucking like this anymore. And I think I talked myself in to liking the series, even though the first book is basically like Hunger Games in space. That's fine. That's fine. But I don't know. If you like it, that's great. But for me, it was always just okay, and something I read because it got recommended so much on BookTube at the time. But after the shit that the author Elsa said online within the last year and a half, no thank you. And lastly is Zadie Smith, Swing Time. This is a book that I read, and this was the first book I read by this author, I believe. I think I've read one other one, and it might have been White Teeth. I just can't see myself rereading this book. It's not that it was bad, it was actually pretty good, but just can't see myself rereading it. Okay, I think there actually is one other book in my office, but the reason why it's there is because I'm having to press it because it was in one of these bags for so long that things shifted and another book fell in between, which is annoying. I will put a picture up. I think it's Pride. I think it's the Shakespeare retelling, not Shakespeare retelling, a Bronte retelling. I'll put it up here and not be able to explain it further than what I said, but I read it and I just can't see myself rereading it. So there you have it. All right. Hopefully this makes the cut, because this went faster than when I've done this the first 2 times many years ago. And yeah, I think it went well. So let's hope I get a decent amount of money for these books. You know, I've said that I'm trying really hard not to spend too much money. You all know I fail oftentimes. But at the end of the day, I should have sold these anyway for space and for the money to buy new books. Why the fuck didn't I do that earlier? It is what it is. But basically, somewhere on this screen, because I'm doing this today, I will put how much I got for these. And yeah, wish me luck. Here's the price that I got for it, and there you have it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked the video, please like the video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on other social media. It's in the description box down below, and you have a good day. Goodbye.